Good? Here we go. Amar, you could post that we're on Zoom if anyone wants, but Amar, everyone's here, Baruch Hashem. Amar, Akiva. Who's Akiva? Akiva! Where's Akiva? Where's Menachem? Where's Maishi? No, you're not doing your job.
I post a lot of very exciting announcements. By the way,
Good. Okay, let's go. Amar, now they'll hear on the recording if they listen that they were called out. Amar, Rav Shmuel Bar Yitzchak, Halach. The size of a sukkah is Yichashti Machzekes, Roishai, Rubai, Shulchanai, which we call 7x7 tvachim. By the way, the Chaver learning outside, I feel bad. Why don't they come learn in the shul? They're sitting like Pashut in a kitchen over there. No, they want to be there? It doesn't bother me if they want to learn here. Just tell them.
They look comfortable.
I'm not. Everyone can do what they want. Just if they think that they're staring us by coming to the shul, they should know they could come and sit like a mensch. Not that it's not freezing in here. I think out there there's actually heat. Maybe we should go out there.
Is that a heater or something?
Yeah, we need a lot more than a heater. We need a shul. We need a floor. We need
Listen, we have lights.
Baruch Hashem. We have flats also. Amar Rav Shmuel Bar Yitzchak. Halacha. Svichashti machzekes roishai rubai v'shulchanai. Amar le Rav Abba Kinyan kibei shamei. Amar le Rav Abba Kinyan kibei shamei. Amar le Elamat Kinyan. Who else? Yeah, like kibei shamei. Igedi Amri Lashon number 2. Amar le Rav Abba asked Amar Chamani, who holds that it has to hold Rosh Rubai v'shulchanai? Amar le Bei Shammai v'loy tazuz mina. Don't move from Bei Shammai. Maskif lo Rav Nachum Bar Yitzchak. Ask Rav Nachum Bar Yitzchak. Mimai de Bei Shammai Yisrael b'sukkah kitana pligi. How do you know that Bei Shammai and Bei Yisrael argue about a sukkah kitana? I skipped. Dilma, really, perhaps, b'sukkah kitana pligi. Maybe they're talking about a big sukkah. You're sitting on the edge of the sukkah, and shulchanai, and the table is b'toich habayis. And in that case, the Bei Shammai Savri, why is it no good that the table's not in the sukkah? Not because the table's not in the sukkah. Why? Because we don't shema yimashech achar shulchanai. You might be drawn after the table to gzeira. Dira banan, savri loy gazrinan, and says the Gemara v'tekanami, and this would fit with the word. Nice glasses. This would fit with. Sorry, ADHD is kicking in. It's late at night. V'tekanami, and this would fit with the words of the Mishnah. Tekatani. The words of the Mishnah on Daf Chav Ches are Mi Shahaya telling us a story. Mi Shahaya Reishav Rubai v'Sukkah v'Shachanei v'Teicha B'Hayis v'Shamei Poisel v'Sal Machshirim. Vim Isa, and if the machlekes was what the minimum size of the sukkah is, Vim Isa, what should the Mishnah have said? Machzekes ve'inoi machzekes mi ba'ilei. It should have said machzekes. It could hold the table, or einoi machzekes. It can't hold the table. Shouldn't have told us a story about a guy in the sukkah with a table in the house. So says the Gemara. It sounds like they're not arguing about the size of a sukkah. Says the Gemara, asks the Gemara, 1 second. Is that true? Ubisukkah kitana loy pligi? Do they not actually argue about a sukkah kitana? V'atanya, we learned in a brayso. Machzekes roisha v'shulchanai ksheira. Says the Tanakama, if it could hold machzekes roisha, your head, ruba, the majority of your body, v'shulchanai, the table, it's kosher. Rabbi Omer, no. Ache ba'arba amos l'arba amos. Brayso number 1. B'tani idach, brayso number 2. Rabbi Omer says, Rabbi kol sukkah she'in ba'arba amos l'arba amos. Psula. So far, Rebbe is the same in both prices. But the Chachamim Oimrim, afilu in machzekes ella, even if it could not hold only Roishai v'Rubai Ksheira. And in Brisa number 2, anyone toes numb? Pasha can't feel my toes. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, we haven't been sitting a long time.
I'm wearing boots. Oh my gosh! V'ilu. I'm sorry. Let's go back to the Gemara. It doesn't say anything about Shulchanai. Kashan hadadi. So the brises are stiras. So how do you answer up the brises? Again, in the first brise it says how big does your sukkah have to be? Big enough to hold Rosh Rubai Shulchanai. The second brise, how big does your sukkah have to be? Just Rosh and Rubai. Doesn't say Shulchanai. So how do we answer up such a contradiction? Elolah, very easy. Shema mina habe shamai habe silos. What do we see? we see Beis Shammai, Beis Hillel indeed argue about the minimum size of a sukkah. Amar Mar Zucha, says Mar Zucha, guess what? The words of the Mishnah are precise. Now what they do argue. So everyone's wondering, which Mishnah? Because the other Mishnah a moment ago was precise that they're not arguing. Hey, guess what? It's the same Mishnah. Mediktani, because what were the words of the Mishnah? It started off with a story. Mishahaya. But then it continued that what? Beis Shammai Paislim, Ubeis Hillel Machshirim. 1 second. Vem Isa. And if the Mishnah was talking about a story, a gezerah derabanan, that you were sitting there and the table was inside. Should have said kosher and puzzle. If there's a gezerah derabanan, it doesn't make the sukkah puzzle. What does it do? You're not yaitse. But the sukkah ostensibly is kosher. So what should I have said? Says the Gemara. Okay, great. What do you do with the first part of the Mishnah that says Mishaya, one who is sitting in the sukkah on his tables in his house? What do you do with the story part of the Mishnah? So answers the Gemara. La'ilam, really, I'll tell you. Betarti pligi. They argue about two things. Pligi b'sukkah ketana, or pligi b'sukkah gedayla. Yes.
And we learned that all out just from 2 words of Mishahaya.
And we learned that all out from Mishahaya and the puzzle and kasher. The fact that the two don't work, there's no other way to do it. So says the Gemara, we got to rewrite the Mishnah. Keep the beginning, keep the end, and stop a whole paragraph in the middle. And there's words missing. Someone who is head in the majority of his body is in the sukkah of Shulchan B'Techabayis. Beis Shammai Imrim La Yatza, Ubeis Hillel Imrim Yatza. That's in case number 1 of the story. Now we insert another case. And if it cannot hold, and now we go to the end of the Mishnah, Beis Shammai Paislim, Beis Hillel Machshirim. Givaldik. That's how we learn the Mishnah. That's how we reconcile. It is a machlekes. Yes. Is there gezerah? Yes. All is good and dandy. Any questions, comments, concerns, or we'll go a drop further? Give that seltzer, please. Givaldik. Says the Gemara. Here we go. We are 6 lines from the bottom. We're going to go. I'm going to go for another 5 minutes. Then I'll stop 5 minutes earlier so we can actually try to read through a little bit, which is always good to try to read the words a little bit ourselves. Man Tana Laha de Tanu Rabbanan. Who is the Tana of the following brisa? The brisa says as follows: Bayis, a house. She'ein ba'i arba amois ala arba amois. That is not 4 amois by 4 amois. Says the brisa, an entire list of dinim that are completely irrelevant to us right now, but we'll get to the point that's relevant. But they're actually fun dinim, so I'm going to read all of them, and then maybe we'll come back and make a nice comment. A house that's not 4 by 4, din number 1, pater min hamezuzah. Okay. Umin hamaika. You don't have to make a fence. A maika is a fence on the roof. Ve'inoi mitame b'negayim. And there's no tumas saras in such a house. Ve'inoi nechlat b'bate irechama. And such a house doesn't, without getting complicated, doesn't have specific dinim abati irechama, which are dinim about houses within walled cities, have to do with how they're sold. Nechla literally means like a nechlat is like a decision. It's not subsumed. It's not considered to be bati irachim. It's not together with a bati irachim. I don't have the precise word for it. We'll have to open up an English translation, but that's what it means. It comes to the word nechlat is like a decision. Hachlata is to make a decision. So nechlat, it's not considered. I think considered is the right word. Part of the bati irachim. Ve'ein chayzrin alav. We know if someone's going to battle and he leaves behind a house, he doesn't have to go to war. What if I leave on this teeny little house, 4 by 4? No, you don't come back from battle for that. We can't utilize it for an Erev. Now, what this means, we're going to come back to, because in Amud Beis, we're actually going to get involved in this din. So let's just say you can't make an Erev with it. Vein mishtatvim boy, and you can utilize it for a sheet of mivu'ais, which is another Erevin type of din that we're going to get to in Amud Beis. Vein menichen by Erev, and you can place the Erev in it. 3 dinim of Erevin. Continues the brisa. You can't utilize this small house to make an iber. Iber from the word of pregnancy. A din of how far does the Tchum Shabbos go outside of a city. And if this house is the furthest house, it's not considered that it starts from there. To explain this very broad. Ve'ina achim and brothers. V'hashutfim and partners. Cholkim bai. Do not divide in this house. So we have a whole long brisa. What's the nikuda? What's the detail of the brisa? That something less than 4x4 is not, it's not a house. It's not a house. So who is this? Says the Gemara, very good. Lema, Rebbe. We know Rebbe. We just had 2 brises, and Rebbe kept on saying it's about 4x4. V'loi Rabbanan. Says the Gemara, and what this will conclude, 3 lines from the top of Gimel and Beis. No. Afilu Tema Rabbanan, the Rabbanan could agree. And now we're going to explain why each din in this brisa is unique. And let's just go through some of them. The Rabbanan only said the din elul inyin sukkah. Only with regard to a sukkah did the Rabbanan say it could be less than 4x4 amos. Why? De diras arahi. Because a sukkah is temporary, so it makes sense that the din of a minimum sukkah is going to be different than the minimum size of a house. Avalagabe bayis, the diras kavahi, afilu rabbanan will be maida to Rabbi that what? The isbei dalet amos al dalet amos, if it's 4x4, dairi bei inchi, people live. Dayor means to live in such a place. Vilo loy dairi bei inchi, if not, people will not live in such a place. To make one interesting comment from the brisa we just said, we said there's no chi of mezuzah. So this is the reason why, if you have in your house a walk-in closet, for example, there's no chi of mezuzah. So I say, wait, I was told to put a mezuzah up there. Slow. There's no chi of mezuzah. Why not? It's not 4x4. There's a shita that says, there's a Chamud Daniel and Shulchan Aruch that says, but if it could do its function, then even if it's less than 4x4, 4x4, sheds, entrance areas, little laundry rooms, all these areas, if it's not 4x4. Now, how do you calculate 4x4? This is a big discussion on Chas Mezuzah. We should actually give a share on Chas Mezuzah because it's Gishmak, because everyone has their house, and then you can figure out, wait, did I do right? Did I do wrong? Maybe I should do different. Maybe I'll understand what the Rav told me, etc., etc.
I had a Rav come to my house.